Hello everybody and welcome to the ESI Digest, where we run through the biggest esports business related news stories of the week. I'm your host Tom Daniels, the sub-editor of Esports Insider. We have 5 huge news stories for you this week. We're going to be talking about Valkyrae and CouRage announced as co-owners of 100 Thieves, Astralis Group announcing its intention to trade in the US market and kind of the details behind that, BMW Esports announcing OG as its new partner and also creating a manga series. Then we're also going to be chatting about guitar manufacturer Jackson partnering with LCS and PENTAKILL, their virtual band. And finally, the news which has kind of just came in today, esports data platform Grid has announced a $10 million funding round. Once again, this ESI Digest is in partnership with Rocket Reel, powered by Really.ai, so we're really glad to have them on board again. So let's get into the digest. Our first news story is a massive piece of esports business news, and it is the fact that 100 Thieves have 2 new co-owners in the name of CouRage and Valkyrae. Now, these 2 names obviously will be very familiar to a lot of people, but for those who don't know, CouRage and Valkyrae were working with 100T initially as content creators. I believe Valkyrae was there from 2018 and CouRage was there from 2019. Financial details around the investment have not actually been revealed in the sense of how much of a stake both CouRage and Valkyrae will have in 100 Thieves, but I do think that this is like a huge and significant partnership because it's kind of showing how now content creators are starting to be more embedded into esports organizations, not just through, fan engagement through the content, which is affiliated by 100 Thieves, but actually now into the business side of things, and it's kind of developing, and it really does show the growth for me of Valkyrae and CouRage both as content creators, and now, essentially being a very influential part of 100 Thieves. Overall, I think this is actually a really positive news. 100 Thieves recently have had a lot of new announcements which have come through. Obviously, they've partnered with Truly Hard Seltzer, Twisted Tea, Hard Iced Tea, I believe, as well. They've had like NFTs, so things keep on developing at 100 Thieves, but this definitely kind of topped the recent news in having Valkyrae and CouRage being the new co-owners of 100 Thieves. Another kind of US-based story here, but really it's actually got European roots as well. So Danish esports organization Astralis Group has announced its intention to kind of trade in the US market through a dual quotation on the OTCQX best market. Apologies for that. Now, according to the release, the reason why the organization has applied to be publicly listed in the US is due to its growing investor interest from investors in the country. Now, if proven successful, US-based investors will be able to purchase Astralis Group shares. For those who don't know, Astralis Group is actually publicly listed by entering into the Danish exchange under the ticker ASTGRP. So it does make sense for them to kind of break into that US exchange and go into the US market trading if there is this significant interest that they are rumored to have. Astralis Group's application process to trade in the US is expected to be finalized within 4 weeks, and I do think that this is a significant deal if the interest is there, as what Astralis are kind of saying. This could potentially be very, very lucrative for Astralis, and also it could be kind of part of Astralis's global expansion as well. Obviously, they're very, very popular in CSGO and in Europe, but being on the US market also helps them expand further globally and reach more of a global audience as well. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing, 1, if they do end up getting onto the US market, and 2, what kind of investment figures we're going to be seeing from Astralis Group in the coming years probably. Our third story is a very, very interesting story indeed. BMW Esports, the esports division of German automotive company BMW, has unveiled Heroes of Rivalry. It is a manga series featuring its United in Rivalry team partners. Now, BMW's United in Rivalry partners include the likes of Cloud9, Fnatic, FunPlus Phoenix, G2 Esports, and T1. However, the announcement also revealed, on top of the manga series, that European organization OG Esports has been announced as its latest team in that roster of partners. Now, also, which is quite interesting, is OG Esports is the only esports partner from BMW Esports in this kind of collaboration that isn't a League of Legends focused team, which is quite a nice little stat in its own. Now, the manga series will feature all of the United in Rivalry teams and players. I believe that there's about 6 of them, and I think the first one is out now. It will be illustrated by Japanese artist Aki Bright, with the concept and storyline coming from German agency Jung von Matt. In all honesty, I think this is a great initiative. I love kind of different ways to engage with esports audiences, and it helps that obviously I'm a fan personally of like manga and anime, but I feel like kind of crossing those two worlds does genuinely make a lot of sense because there's a lot of crossover appeal. And if you can kind of even appeal to a new genre of people who, are more like the manga readers or the anime style, that could also get them invested into esports as well, or into at least specific organizations. I think it's a great marketing campaign. It's really interesting to kind of see as well, like multiple esports organizations kind of collaborate on this one kind of initiative, this manga series. I wonder kind of what other activations could take place which are more collaborative and kind of not just boosting one esports team's reputation, but kind of boosting a lot of esports teams' reputations collectively. So I'm really looking forward to kind of seeing exactly how the manga is received as well, but also to see what kind of future activations whether BMW Esports and its United in Rivalry partners have, or if there's going to be any other initiatives which come out from different brands as well. Moving on now, and Riot Games has announced a global collaboration between US-based guitar manufacturer Jackson and the developer's virtual heavy metal band PENTAKILL. Now, this announcement actually got clouded in a lot of other information in the sense that PENTAKILL will be making their first performance at, I believe it's like the LCS mid-season showdown since 2017, I believe is like the last performance they had. So kind of this partnership was in the middle of all that, but what we can kind of see from the details which were given is that the collaboration is expected to showcase the instrument's powerful performance and distinctive style. Now, exact details of what this partnership entails have not been revealed, but I guess you can kind of expect something similar to what happened with KDA and Ducati, where Ducati essentially modeled a bike during the KDA More music video. So I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing something similar to that. However, that has not been confirmed. In addition to its partnership with PENTAKILL specifically, Jackson will also be partnering with the LCS in the near future, which means that they'll be joining partners such as Grubhub, MasterCard, State Farm, and the list goes on and on. So it's not just going to be PENTAKILL specific, but it is also going to see Jackson become a partner of the LCS. Now, yet again, activations and kind of details on this have not been revealed because I feel like the announcement was more talking about PENTAKILL's return. I personally really like this partnership, especially the collaboration between PENTAKILL and Jackson, because I feel like it's good when brands and esports entities have good synergy together, and I do think that this partnership synergizes perfectly. You've got PENTAKILL, who are a virtual heavy metal band, and then you've got Jackson Guitars, who are an electric guitar band. Like, their brands and their entities both link up really well. I'm also interested to kind of see what the integration with the LCS will be in the near future, but I think only time will tell, and I definitely do think we'll see part of Jackson's kind of activations and potentially what they'll be doing with PENTAKILL in the future at the mid-season showdown, which is when PENTAKILL will be performing. Our final story of the ESI Digest sees esports data platform Grid announce a $10 million Series A funding round. In particular, NFL player Juju Smith-Schuster has also invested in the firm as part of that funding round. Alongside the NFL player's investment, other parties which have invested in Grid include Alinea Capital, Bumble Ventures, and Tar Heel Capital Pathfinder. Grid has also revealed that, according to them, leading investors in gaming, iGaming, and the tech industry have invested in the data platform. However, those names have not been revealed. What's really interesting about this story is that Grid have revealed that the investment will be used to strengthen its US expansion plans. I think this investment really solidifies how important proper data distribution is in esports right now, because it can be used for a variety of things, as you know, we're probably going to be seeing through like Grid's partnerships in the future, especially with the funding going in the US. It can be used to strengthen integrity for tournament organizers to ensure that kind of data is kept safe and secure and distributed correctly. It can also be added to broadcasts to increase fan engagement, you know, provide more stats, to provide more data into broadcasts, which could bring certain viewers in. And it can also be used to help esports betting and kind of strengthen esports betting as a whole. So data is so vital, and that is why I think a significant amount has been invested into Grid, because Grid has proven with its likes of partnerships with We Play Esports, Let's Play Live, Flashpoint, that's just the tournament organizers, that they are doing data distribution in the correct way and in a very effective way. And that's why this investment has come through, and we're looking forward to, personally me, of kind of what more partnerships will happen with Grid and how their US expansion will kind of develop now that this new funding has come in. And that is everything for this huge episode of the ESI Digest. Once again, I'd like to thank Rocket Reel, powered by Really.ai, for partnering with us for this digest. Also, if you want to hear about any of the stories which we've talked about and know more about them, head over to Esports Insider's website, where there's more details on all the stories that I have talked about, and also loads of other esports business related news stories as well, which have kind of been coming throughout the entire week. Don't forget to also follow us on Twitter if you want kind of a quick kind of news update which going onto your feed. Also go on to our Instagram as well, as we're looking to kind of really bolster that. And then finally, if you do want to follow me, I am at the Tom Daniels on Twitter. But until next week, I'll see you then.